Coming up on your horizon. Today we look at where we live and why. We'll examine the growing trend of more people calling downtown home, and you may be surprised it's not just the hip and trendy.
The younger groups that want to be near the entertainment, the older groups that want to be near the cultural facilities, and the people in the middle who want to just be close to work.
We'll meet an Oklahoman trying to turn around a downtown one apartment at a time. And we'll meet some folks living their own 1960s sitcom, but without the laugh track. And I'll tell you why the next time you're stuck in traffic, you may want to consider what you pay at the pump. And we'll end our day looking at Oklahoma's changing demographics. Stay with us for Oklahoma Horizon.
Oklahoma Horizon is made possible by the Oklahoma Department of Career and Technology Education.
Oklahoma's investment in Career Tech provides more than nationally recognized technology education and training. It produces solid financial returns for the state's economic future. Oklahoma Career Tech, elevating our economy.
And the Oklahoma Department of Agriculture, Food, and Forestry, helping good people grow good things. And now, from the Career Tech Studios in Stillwater, here's your host, Rob McClendon.
Hello everyone, thanks for joining us here on Horizon. Well, after decades of decline, America's downtowns are once again attracting new residents. According to new census data, metropolitan areas in some of our largest cities grew at double-digit rates this past decade. A trend we're seeing right here in Oklahoma. In downtown Oklahoma City, an influx of young professionals and empty nesters are changing what was once solely a business district into a neighborhood. For Dustin Akers, his boots are made for walking to his job in downtown Oklahoma City.
I really love urban areas and downtowns of the city, so I really wanted to be able to walk to work and be able to walk to everything I need downtown.
A recent transplant from South Carolina, Dustin is part of a growing trend in Oklahoma, young professionals trading in their daily commute for downtown living.
Well, in the last 10 or 12 years, there's been an explosion of downtown housing.
Bill Udy is with Oklahoma City's Urban Renewal Authority and says downtown amenities are attracting an increasingly diverse population.
I think that young people want it because it's a hip location. Downtown's happening now because of the Oklahoma City Thunder and because of all of the improvements downtown, because of Bricktown and because of all of the entertainment and cultural benefits of living downtown. And then you'll find that other people, maybe a little bit older, want to live here because this is where they work. There are a lot of high concentration of professional employment, doctors, attorneys, other types of business people who work downtown, and it's just convenient to live near work, particularly with gasoline being very expensive and no yard work. Busy professionals have a limited amount of time to mow grass and that sort of thing.
And it was the demands of his job that first attracted Marco Paliota to downtown Oklahoma City. Pediatric cardiac surgeon Dr. Paliota lives just blocks from his job at the Children's Hospital at the OU Medical Center.
Day starts at 7 o'clock in the morning, and it can end anyone's guess. It could be 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock. It depends on the difficulty of the surgeries, on how the kids are doing in the ICU.
So living nearby is a convenience that often turns into a necessity.
I'm fortunate that Oklahoma City offers some downtown living, and so that I'm literally 5 minutes away from the hospital, and I can go back if I have to for some emergency or urgency or something like that.
And while it is their job that first brought both gentlemen downtown, it is an overall lifestyle that has kept them there.
Every Thursday night, the Art Museum has cocktails on the skyline. They have a band on the roof, and it's a block away, so I can just walk over there, have a couple drinks with my friends, wind down after work for the day, and be able to walk home.
There's the museum that I like to go to. There's the Civic Center that has good shows, and the Philharmonic and things like that. There's Shakespeare in the Park, which is always a fun thing to do on a Sunday. There's good restaurants downtown, and those are easy to walk to from here. And that's what I like to do in a city, just kind of be able to walk to where I want to go.
In the past 5 years, more than 1,000 new residences have opened in Oklahoma City, from the upscale City Place Tower to more moderately priced apartments.
This is the site where they had several developments. One of them was the brownstones at Maywood Park.
And with another 500 housing units in the works, downtown housing is a trend that UD says shows no signs of slowing down.
We're finding that people want to retire downtown because it's right between the University Medical Center and the St. Anthony's Hospital, just an enormous amount of cultural things and fun things to do downtown for a retired person.
Now, whether young or old, you can't really live on entertainment alone. In fact, to a person, everyone we talked to in downtown said while they really enjoyed living here, there was still one thing missing, until now, a grocery store. So it looks like you guys are about ready to open.
Yeah, we're getting this close.
Matt Runkle and his wife Sarah Kaplan are the owners of the newly opened Native Roots grocery store in downtown Oklahoma City.
There's about 1,000 apartments in the immediate 2-block radius, which for Oklahoma is about as dense as you can get.
Which should supply plenty of foot traffic for this store that first gained popularity in Norman.
This is actual population density. It does work for something like what we're doing, where you can have thousands of people living in a quarter-mile, half-mile radius. And we're slowly getting there. There's more apartments coming up, more hotel rooms, all of that. But that is actual bodies that can walk here or drive here in just a few minutes. And that's a convenience factor. So being on this particular corner puts us right smack in the middle of Deep Deuce, right in the heart of where all of this is sort of beginning to grow and the new apartment complexes are coming.
With a unique blend of staples like frozen foods and fresh vegetables, Native Roots also caters to higher-end demands like fresh mixed spices and made-in-Oklahoma products.
Our job is food, and our job is food with extremely high customer service. And that basically means that you have to be in the facility or near it at all times and on call at all times.
Which is why Matt and his family don't just work here, but live here as well, literally right above the grocery store.
You know, we're not really big into commuting. We have a little one, and we like to be nearby, so when I can take a break and run upstairs and hang out with my child, that's really cool.
And if successful, just the latest gathering place for an area that's trying to become just as much a neighborhood as it is a business district.
In an urban community, you sometimes lack the ability to come across your neighbors on a consistent basis, say like when you're mowing your yard or gardening and you talk to the person next door. Well, there's nothing like that when you live in an apartment and you're in a series of apartments and everyone looks vertically, basically. So coming to the corner market 2 or 3 times a week, you begin to run into those people and it builds that sense of community and you have conversations with the guy from across the hall.
The downtown community is a really strong community. You kind of know everybody. You wave to them as you walk down the street and you run into them at the same places. So it's a great opportunity to meet new people and forge friendships that you may not have the opportunity to in the suburbs.
Because rather than being stuck inside a car going to and from work, residents here say they have the time to enjoy the simpler things of life, like getting home early and cooking dinner, while many of your friends are still sitting in traffic.
I think I'm lucky. You know, Oklahoma City has grown in the past years, and at 5 o'clock, if you get on the 235 going north, you're going to hit some traffic and probably be sitting there for a good 20 minutes. And I live here. Whether there's traffic or not, it takes me 5 minutes to get home and 5 minutes to go back to work. So I feel good about that.
Now, most real estate developers will tell you that for any neighborhood to take off, good schools come first, followed by good houses, and then retail. And while Oklahoma City may have got the houses before the schools, a new elementary is in the works, which could make the area even more attractive to families with children. When we return, we head to my hometown to take a look at how downtown living is going in rural Oklahoma.
You're watching Oklahoma Horizon, featuring some of the good things that are happening in the great state of Oklahoma.
Well, while metro areas may be leading the trend in more downtown residential living, some smaller towns are also promoting the idea of calling downtown home. Joining me now is our Andy Barth.
Rob, the Stillwater community is growing, from larger enrollment numbers at the university to new retail chains moving in. And while much of that growth is happening around the expanding city limits, some community leaders are doing their part in revitalizing the Main Street area, the heart of downtown Stillwater.
Stillwater may not be a booming metropolis, but thanks to some renovation,
Stillwater's downtown is getting some attention.
You can't build character like this. You know, I could spend twice, actually I probably spent half as much money if we had built something new, but you could spend twice as much and still not get the character. Steel bar.
Corey Williams designed the renovations for this downtown apartment and says he has a love for old buildings.
There, and the building is a 1919 building, and it's got beautiful architecture, and the bones were good enough. I hate to see buildings like that just keep devaluing and deteriorating to the point where they can't be saved.
And Williams says the apartments are in high demand and will help boost downtown.
We saw a need for urban living, and then we saw a beautiful building that could be preserved. And I've lived in Stillwater most of my life, and I've watched the downtown kind of go in cycles, where you would you see a lot of investment go in, and it'd be great for 10 or 12 years, and then a new strip mall or another attraction would open and would kind of pull the retail aspect out to somewhere else, and it would kind of languish for a little while.
And Williams' solution is to capitalize on what downtown has to offer.
I think that if we can get a good mix of social, retail, and residential down here, it will really take the ebb and flow out of the downtown area, and I really want to preserve Stillwater's downtown.
Angela McLaughlin works for the city of Stillwater and was the city's first bid director.
Downtowns are usually your heart of the community. That's where everything else was built around. And if you don't have that area vibrant and people want to visit it, then you lose so much to your city.
And McLaughlin says the downtown buildings were meant to be lived in.
If you go back and look at the original intent of these buildings, that's exactly what they were there for. Usually the property owner was your retail operator downstairs and their family lived above. So I think it is so neat that we're going back to that original concept where, for example, District Bikes, the person who's currently running that business lives upstairs with his family in one of the apartments.
So we visited District Bikes owner Bobby Wintle to get his take on living upstairs on Main Street.
Was really excited, was really apprehensive about living upstairs, but man, it has made life for us right now so much easier. If we need to come down and get something done, we can together as a family. And Emery, our daughter, she just comes down with us and she'll ride her little Strider bike around, and we can get some things done, and then if she's had enough and we've had enough, then we'll just go back upstairs.
And Wintle says he and his wife have a love for old buildings too.
We love the downtown mentality. You know, we love the idea of using what's already there, what's already available, and also we love history and culture and community. Community is number one.
You know,
and Williams says downtown has a special feel.
Or seating, I think it just provides a sense of community. While you can shop at other locations and in different strip malls, you don't get the same feeling that you get whenever you're in the downtown area and you're walking around and there's people milling about. It just really, it's a sense of pride for the community, it's a sense of interaction for the community.
And while the building is a major downtown attraction, Williams says there were some learning opportunities along the way.
It's a learning process, you know. You have to know that everything is going to get replaced. In fact, when we bought the building, I didn't order any inspections because it didn't really matter what the answers were. We knew that we were going to have new plumbing. We knew we were going to have all new electric, all new heat and air. And so if you approach it with that kind of mentality that everything is going to be brand new, it's not that bad of a deal.
Williams says Stillwater has done its part when it comes to revitalizing downtown.
I think that it's imperative for a community to have an active, vibrant downtown. And Stillwater's has been great, and we owe a lot to the City Council for putting in the bid district a few years ago. And then we have some local entrepreneurs in Aspen and Zanotti's and Summit Company that really keep a lot of people down here.
Building lives and businesses while bringing a city center back to life. Now, Stillwater's downtown area is still changing. Corey Williams says another residential building is already coming along with more unique restaurants on their way.
And it looks like you found the same trend there that I did in Oklahoma City, business owners actually living above their businesses.
That's right, Rob. The view may not be as nice as it is in downtown Oklahoma City, but the residential properties available in Stillwater are considered a hot item.
And I guess it's really not a new trend, maybe just to our generation.
That's right. Shopkeepers living above shops goes back for centuries, probably for the same reasons that more and more businesses are moving to downtown. downtown Stillwater, both efficient and easy.
All right, thanks for the story.
Still to come on Oklahoma Horizon, life outside the city lights. But first, stuck in traffic?
So while downtown living is a significant trend, what we're talking about is still a fairly small section of our population. We are a commuter nation. In fact, Americans now drive nearly twice as many miles as we did in 1980. Across the U.S., drivers log about 37 miles a day, which translates into over 13,000 miles a year. And when you consider that the number of Americans with driver's license have grown by over 45% since those same 1980s, those two factors add up to a lot more traffic and congestion that costs all of us both time and money. Here's more from our friends at Face the Facts USA.
America, can we afford the road ahead? Let's look back to see where we're going. In 1980, all those preppies, valley girls, and yuppies drove about 18 miles a day. They already complained about traffic. But over the next 32 years, more cars and more drivers joined them on the road, driving more miles on basically the same roads they did in 1980. Here's the fact. Today, we're driving nearly twice as many miles as we did in 1980, but we've added only 6% more miles of public roads. We spend more than twice as much time in traffic. That makes us less productive. Cars that stand in traffic burn more gas, adding to pollution. Those overworked roads break up and damage your car. As for the future, by the government's own estimates, we're short in keeping up with the roads we do have. It would be like driving the same car you did in 1980 and not keeping up with all the repairs.
So while we may be driving twice as much as in 1980, new construction of public roads has only grown by about 6% in that same time period. Consider this. Although gasoline prices have tripled since 1993, the federal gas tax hasn't budged 1 cent. It's remained a flat 18.4 cents per gallon for the last 20 years. And when you adjust for inflation, it has actually fallen to 12 cents a gallon. And here is why that matters. It is the revenue from the gas tax that goes to maintain our highways and bridges. But thanks to inflation, it has been effectively reduced by 35%. Now, last year, the average American driver paid $99 in federal gas taxes and $110 in state fuel taxes, which again is an average because when you look at the U.S. as a whole, here in Oklahoma, we have one of the lowest fuel tax rates in the nation. In fact, at 35 cents a gallon, we pay almost half in local and state fuel taxes of what residents of California and New York do. We even fare better than our neighbors of Kansas at 43 cents a gallon, Arkansas at 40 cents a gallon, and Texas at 38 cents a gallon. And when you compare us as a nation to other industrialized countries, the difference is even more dramatic. When you add up local, federal, and state gas taxes, the U.S. average is 41 cents a gallon. Compare that to Canada, which is almost twice that, while those in Great Britain and Germany pay over 8 times what we do. So, the next time you hit a pothole or are stuck in traffic, know that while we may be paying less, we're also getting less when it comes to the roads we all share in our daily commute. Now you can get a daily dose of facts just like this on our website. Just head to the Face the Facts section at okhorizon.com.
Oklahoma Horizon is now portable. Just subscribe to our weekly podcast. Visit iTunes.com where you can download our show for your listening or viewing convenience.
Well, some of the fastest growing counties in Oklahoma are those that ring our metro areas. And while getting your own piece of acreage is certainly a lifelong dream for many, it can also be a real learning experience. Joining me now is our Keela Kellen.
Well, Rob, life in the country is definitely different than living in the city, and making that transition to wide open spaces that many people long for is one that does come with its own set of pitfalls. So many that there was a 1960s TV show about it called Green Acres, a name that is getting a new meaning thanks to some classes that teach the very basics of country living.
Green
Acres is the place to be. At least that's what these students seem to think. Kenda Woodburn is an extension educator out of Tulsa.
The Green Acres class is a beginning farmers and ranchers class. We're teaching people some of the basics of what they need to know before they start farming, either with livestock or with fruits and vegetables or herbs, and also what to look for in purchasing a farm. So basically everything you need to know for beginning farming.
Beginning farmer Rhonda Parrish first took the class a few years ago when she moved to the country and is taking it again to learn more.
When I heard about this class, I said I want to go again because actually I had told everybody about it and how cool it was. I came back again because I'm going to start planting something, lots of something.
Living just outside of Tulsa and owning a few acres of land, Rhonda cares for her horses and firmly believes that what she learned in the class has benefited her life on the farm.
Take the class. Do not neglect to take the class. Take the class. Get your soil test. Do the soil test. It's important. But there's so much information in the class that you just don't think of, that especially if you haven't been a farmer.
Rhonda loves country living, and that's exactly where she plans to live the rest of her life.
This isn't for everybody, but for an introvert like myself, which you probably can't tell, it's just a little slice of heaven.
Farm living is the life for her, as she plans to continue learning and trying new things on her green acres outside of town. The fastest growing county in Oklahoma is Canadian, which has seen its population shoot up 32% in the last decade.
Well, certainly an interesting trend. Thank you so much, Keila.
You're welcome, Rob.
Now, earlier, I was able to sit down with Deidre Myers with Oklahoma's Department of Commerce to talk more about not only where we live in the state, but also who lives there. Joining me now is Deidre Myers with Oklahoma's Department of Commerce. How have our demographics changed in recent years?
Well, for one thing, Oklahoma is growing at a very nice rate, not quite 9%, which is the U.S. rate, but still a very healthy rate. We don't want it to be above 15% because then we outgrow our infrastructure, and that becomes very difficult for schools and hospitals and other kinds of public services. So our growth rate is very healthy, very steady. What's interesting, though, is that it's not homogeneous across the state. We have areas or pockets that are growing at very hot rates, and then we have other areas that unfortunately are actually losing population. People move where there's economic opportunity, and right now you see that in the MSAs, Tulsa MSA, which is Tulsa County and the counties around it, Oklahoma County and the counties around it, but also we see it in two other areas in the state that are very interesting. First, out west, where there are economic hotspots such as Woodward or Sayre or Guymon. In fact, you can tell they have housing shortages because the population is growing because of the jobs there. The other area where we have a hotspot is actually on our Red River border. Texans are moving up from Texas across the border to Oklahoma because of a couple of reasons. One, we have a lot of job growth, but two, the Dallas-Fort Worth area is growing so extensively that it's actually a better deal for them to live in Oklahoma and work in that northern Dallas-Fort Worth area. So you actually see the southern counties, in terms of the ones that are contiguous with Texas, growing at a pretty high clip too.
Now, you mentioned western Oklahoma, and you said there are hotspots. Now, western Oklahoma has still been losing some population, but we have been seeing some increases around energy jobs?
Yes, absolutely. Many of the counties that are in the northwest and western part of the state have had population decreases over the past 10, 20 years. And that's normal. As economies change, jobs move, and so population moves with that. But we have seen a resurgence of population, particularly in Woodward, Guymon, and Sayre, because there are headquarters for energy companies such as the wind energy or oil and gas, and also for our agriculture and biosciences industries that are up in the Panhandle. We do have an increase in our older population. The median age of Oklahoma is actually 36, whereas the median age of the U.S. is 37. So we're a little bit younger state than the U.S. as an average. But that doesn't tell the whole story, because just like in terms of our population, we have different areas where we have an older population, such as the northern part of the state that are more rural agriculture areas. Also in our lake areas where retirees have found that the cost of living in Oklahoma is much lower than many of the states that they're coming from, such as the East Coast. But we also have some really vibrant, youthful areas that are coming up. And so it's exciting to see a diversity in our population and our economy.
All right. Well, Deidre, I appreciate your insights. Deidre Myers with Oklahoma's Department of Commerce. Next time on Oklahoma Horizon, we'll see how an Oklahoma company is fueling excitement about compressed natural gas.
It would be a lot more simple to build the refueling infrastructure for the heavy truck industry than it would be for cars.
Plus, we'll revisit my family's memories of the Dust Bowl. An Oklahoma show for the Heartland, Oklahoma Horizon. Well, looks like we are out of time. I'm Rob McClendon. Thanks for watching. See you back here next week.
Thank you for watching Oklahoma Horizon.